Mr. Laverick.
I'm delighted to meet you, Mr. Randall. You've been quite highly recommended to us. Quite highly.
Oh, who by?
You like birds, Mr. Randall?
When I can find the time.
You'll have all the time you require, suitably reimbursed, of course.
These birds, you represent them?
Well, in a manner of speaking, yes. Now, apart from your normal role as investigator, I want you to act as, guardian. Yes, guardian.
When you say birds, Mr. Laverick, exactly what kind of birds do you mean?
In fact, there are several kinds. The spickle-billed bird of paradise, for one, 33 altogether.
And you want me to stand guard?
Precisely, Mr. Randall. You see, someone is trying to kill them.
Do you know why?
Oh, it is not for me to presume the motive. All I can tell you is that the birds in question form part of the estate of the late Mrs. Wentworth Howe. They're rare and most valuable. And under the terms of her will, the birds must be protected.
I'm listening. Do go on.
The entire estate is to be held in trust for as long as the birds exist, and then it is to be divided amongst her surviving relatives.
Ah, now I see. Someone's becoming impatient.
Well, the birds are expected to live for at least 20 years.
The estate, is it worth much?
After death duties, a little over 2 million.
2 million?
A little over. Mrs. Wentworth Howe was rather eccentric. Nevertheless, her wishes must be carried out. The killer must be found.
The detective. I am Mrs. Howe, and this is my husband.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Colonel Chalmers and Sandra Joyce, a rather distant cousin.
Not too distant, I hope.
I'm just here for the weekend. You're looking over the place.
There's no need to be impertinent.
I was only being realistic, Auntie. After all, I understand that our little feathered friends are quite capable of outliving all of you. Are you a bird fancier, Mr. Randall?
From a very early age.
Marvelous. We must exchange notes sometime.
Mr. Randall, I think I should make it quite clear to you that our family are totally opposed to Mr. Laverick's interpretation of the will.
He was Mrs. Wentworth Howe's lawyer, and he is trustee of the estate.
With Beaches, the gamekeeper. He spends most of his time in the aviary.
When he's not listening in. You'd better come in.
Beaches, how dare you?
Outrageous. No manners at all.
I warned you about this snooping yesterday. For 2 pins, I'd kick you out of the place.
Not while those birds are still flying, you won't.
You impudent, you...
Now, Colonel. No need to make a fuss. We were just having a harmless conversation.
Ah, but we might have been planning a massacre or something.
Sandra, go to your room.
Well, I think I will. Perhaps I can see you all at dinner. Everything okay in the aviary?
Yes, sir.
Good. I'll take a look round later. Stay there.
What are you doing? Looking around the scene of the crime. These birds must be psychic or something. I've never heard such a row. Perhaps they don't like your vibrations. What? Shout out! Uncanny. Oh, I don't know. I believe I do have a certain spiritual influence.
I'm the one. I did it.
Well, what's the score?
Oh, it's straightforward, really. The relatives suddenly become £2 million richer if your little friends get the chop.
So, what do you want me to do?
Take a look in all the visitors' rooms, especially Mrs. Howe's.
Where will I find you?
Oh, I'll be unpacking. Then I have to make an investigation into a particular bird species. The tawny-haired, hazel-eyed, pink-cheeked Sandra joycea. Well, I must fly. If you'll take a seat, Miss Joyce, I'll be with you in a moment.
You can call me Sandra. And if you're very nice, you can make it Sandy. You know, I'm the only one you'll get any cooperation from round here. So it's in both our interests.
Is it?
Under the present will, I get a couple of thousand. But if the birds outlive the others,
You get the lot.
all 2 million. So, Mr. Randall,
Jeffrey. And if you're very nice, you can make it Jeff.
I wouldn't rely too much on Beaches if I were you.
Any particular reason?
He's very good at his job, but he can't hold his whiskey. At least not the amount he likes to put away at night.
That's all I need.
Uncle James is all talk and no do. But dear old Gabby, now she'd do anything to get her hands on the money.
What about the Colonel?
Square and honest. If he made a move, he'd have to be convinced it was honorable first.
£2 million can be very persuasive.
So can I, Mr. Randall.
What's the grub like?
Is there a window open, Johns?
No, madam.
Well, go and look at them anyway.
Yes, it is a little drafty. Nobody's perfect, Jeff. Well, I checked all the rooms. There's no sign of a rifle. But you're right about Mrs. Howe. Do you know what I found on her floor? Birdseed. Birdseed? Big mouth.
Birdseed. It occurred to me that we ought to check the food the birds are getting.
Pathetic.
But surely you don't think anyone would be so low as to poison the birds, Mr. Randall?
Oh, everything's worth checking. I'll send some samples to the laboratory.
Come along, James. We'll take our coffee in the drawing room.
Well, don't just sit down. Follow them.
Will you watch the aviary?
You keep on looking at that chair.
I was just admiring it. It's so pretty.
Oh, so is the sofa.
A cigarette?
No, thank you.
The aviary, Jeff. You're going to watch the aviary.
I think we should ask this detective person to leave.
On to talk. Alternative, that sort of thing.
Besides, Mr. Laverick would never allow it.
Then I shall go to my room. Mr. Randall has quite upset me.
Insufferable fellow. Feel like a breath of fresh air myself.
You coming, James?
Not just now, Colonel.
I should take a look round the grounds.
There's no hurry, surely.
Well, I should make sure that my clients are tucked up on their perches.
You know what they say.
What did they say?
They say a bird in the hand could be worth £2 million. Beaches can take care of things.
When he's sober, you said.
I'd like some more brandy.
Jeff, will you come out here?
Don't go away.
thought you were watching the aviary.
Beaches is doing that.
Well, I didn't see him, but I did see James, and the Colonel's out there somewhere.
What's happening in there?
I don't know.
Jeff, Beaches is over here. He's unconscious.
Oh, that's great.
What is?
Beaches is over there in the bushes.
How could you see that from over there?
Carrots. I always could see in the dark.
Well, they seem cheerful enough.
Yeah. Birds don't usually get insomnia. Wonder what made them so excited.
Uncle James! Oh, Jeff, how?
Must be poison.
Poison? In here? That mark! He's been pegged by a bird!
But why James Howe?
The bird strike back.
Oh, the spicklebill isn't exactly a poisonous variety. Someone's gone to a lot of trouble to make it look that way.
The Colonel.
No. Not his style. Did you stay with Mrs. Howe?
Yes, she's clear. She spent all the time stuffing birdseed down the wash basin.
Beaches. He might be playing games.
Well, let's not forget the Sandra Joy species. She's certainly got a motive.
I was with her all the time.
Which makes one wonder why she's so keen on keeping you occupied.
Oh, thanks.
I'll finish with the others, Mr. Randall.
Oh, good, Sergeant. Anything I can do to help?
Detective, you said, sir?
That's right. The only one I can vouch for is Miss Joyce.
Yes, she said so. Would you mind telling me why you're here, sir?
He'll never believe it.
I'm guarding the birds out there in the aviary.
Bird guard?
I told you.
Yes.
Any cats you're worried about, sir?
One or two.
Well, I'm sure the inspector will be wanting a word with you. You won't be leaving suddenly, I hope.
I wouldn't dream of it, Sergeant.
Good.
Sergeant, what about the Colonel? Where was he?
Why don't you ask the inspector, sir?
I can see we're not going to get a lot of help from the locals.
Whoever did this murder isn't going to stop at James Howe.
No. You'd better keep your eyes open tonight, Marty. Especially in the aviary.
Well, where will you be?
We mortals have to sleep, you know.
Say that again. You're a prime nodder.
Night-night. Oh, Mrs. Howe,
Keep away from me.
I wanted to say how sorry I was.
You killed him. You and those birds.
Come along, my dear.
It's true. If he hadn't come here, it would never have happened.
We don't know that.
If you hadn't interfered, they'd be dead. All those filthy little birds would be dead.
Oh, come, Gabrielle, you mustn't talk like that.
But he's responsible. Him and those birds.
How's the head?
All right, considering. She's a nasty piece of work.
He just crept up on you, did he?
That's right.
Must have been pretty good to creep up on a gamekeeper.
What's that supposed to mean?
Wonder what he hit you with. Whiskey bottle?
But I must know, Gabrielle.
What's the point? What does it matter?
I think it does. What was James doing in the aviary? What did you tell him to do?
Nothing.
We both know that James wouldn't do anything on his own.
It was a mistake. He must have thought I'd already used the bird seed. He'd probably gone to get rid of it.
So, Randall was right.
Yes, why not? My stupid sister-in-law. As long as they live, she said. Well, There's no law against killing birds.
But somebody killed James.
What are you up to? Petrol, that's all we need.
You're going to burn the place down, aren't you? Listen, you can't just do that. No, wait, wait! Jeff, wake up. Come on, don't just lie there. Jeff, this is Marty. You must wake up. Wake up! No, don't! Jeff, I need some help. Fire! Mrs. Howe, think what you're doing. Will you stop messing about with those matches? Mrs. Howe! Oh, no. And about time. I spent half the night trying to wake you up.
Oh, why? What happened?
Nothing much. Only another murder.
No, is that... What?
Who? Not who, how. Mrs. in the aviary.
Well, at least we know who did it. Don't we? But you must have seen the killer.
There wasn't anybody. Just Mrs. Howe and the birds.
Of course, it's not for me to point the finger at...
Yes, sir?
The only man with half the motive and all the opportunity is Beaches.
Well?
I was in my room all night, Mr. Randall.
You didn't even go out to the aviary?
After that crack on the head, it was all I could do to get myself to bed. I swear it, Mr. Randall. I never set foot outside my room.
All right, Beaches. The police will want to see you now.
He's scared, Jeff. But if he had done it, you'd expect some sort of motive.
Yeah, that's my thought. But how was it done?
It's a funny thing about poison. It's supposed to be a woman's weapon.
Not Sandra. She couldn't have got near James.
To been a horrible day.
Yeah, I've known better.
Beaches. I just can't believe it. I've known him for years.
Beaches?
The sergeant's just arrested him.
He hasn't.
Stay where you are.
This won't get you anywhere, Beaches.
I'm not being arrested for something I didn't do. You're a fool, man. They'll just track you down.
There's one barrel loaded, Jeff.
No, no, wait! Don't take any chances, Randall.
Hold it.
We'll get him.
I'll keep an eye on the birds, Sergeant.
Nonsense. Charging Beaches with murder.
Detained for questioning, sir. Only for questioning.
It's ridiculous. Beaches phoned me last night and told me what had happened to Mr. Howe. Now, he's hardly likely to have done that and then rushed out and committed another murder.
Innocent men don't resist arrest, sir.
Have you any evidence? No, of course you haven't. Beaches is the last person to have a motive. About you, Mr. Randall, is that your opinion, too?
No. Beaches is too handy with a shotgun to bother with poison. Marty, whoever it was out there somewhere. Probably in those bushes.
If this is an outside job, Jeff, we're in trouble.
Yeah. That's interesting.
What?
Somebody's watching us from the woods.
Look, there really isn't any necessity for all this. I'm a registered bird watcher.
With this?
Yes, well, I'm sorry about that.
Sorry. You'll have 20 years to find out just how sorry you are.
20 years? What are you talking about?
Murder. Twice. What do you use, some kind of pellet?
Murder? There must be some mistake. I only shot a bird. That was all I was told to shoot.
Yeah? Who told you?
Who sent you? Who?
There's something here, Jeff.
This one's no help.
You could send it to a forensic lab and have it analyzed.
If it's a well-known poison, it could give us a lead.
As long as you know what you're doing. Because I don't want to be there when you tell the police that you kept it.
You sure about the colonel?
Yes, I looked everywhere for him. Johns, the butler, was here. Beaches. Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Well, the police caught Beaches about 2 hours ago.
Eh?
They phoned earlier, I meant to tell you.
What time did they get him?
You mean, could he have done the last murder? I don't know. What about Laverick?
I didn't have time to check his room. But Sandra Joyce wasn't in the house.
My money's on the colonel.
I'm not so sure, Jeff. Like you said before, it's out of character.
Well, maybe he was being clever. Ah, here we are. Rinstead, a poisonous resin obtained from diseased tree bark. Has a strong, pungent odor. Affects the muscles, causing paralysis. Death occurs within seconds.
You know I can't smell anything.
Well, take my word for it. Strong, pungent odor. Used by primitive tribes in India and Burma. I wonder where the colonel did his army service.
You're just trying to make him fit the crime.
He's the logical suspect.
Is he? Do you know your Sandra Joyce studied chemistry at university? Organic chemistry?
Where'd you find that out?
Oh, there you are, Jeff. I've been looking for you. What's that?
It's a poisoned dart, dipped in Rinstead. Sandra, what do you know about the colonel's army career?
Not very much. Why, what do you want to know?
Did he serve overseas?
Yes, I think he was in India before the war.
Circumstantial.
It's got to be him.
Rinstead. Doesn't that come from India or Burma?
Both. Look, I think we'd better tell Laverick.
I'll get him.
Oh, don't say a word to the...
No.
You're rushing things a bit, aren't you, Jeff?
Look, I don't believe it's Sandra. Beaches I don't know about. Laverick was in London. Besides, he'd never send me down here if he was planning a massacre.
But it doesn't have to be anybody from the house at all.
But they're the only ones with motives. And what about the man in the woods? He was killed to stop him telling me who hired him. There's only the colonel left.
I suppose it does add up.
Well, of course it does.
What's all this about a poisoned dart, Randall?
A man was killed some time ago in the woods with this. I'm convinced the colonel fired it.
I see. What do you propose to do about it?
Well, if you'll phone for the police, I'll take care of the colonel. I don't think he intended to stop with the house. Right. You're the only person left with any claim to the money.
Very well. I'll phone right away. Well done, Randall. A splendid piece of deduction.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. If it hadn't been for you, I'd have been the next one to go.
Shall I be the next to go?
I think I'd better look for the colonel. You stay here.
Anything you say.
Present for you, Colonel. We know how you did it, and why.
Good work, Randall. A splendid piece of deduction.
Ah, Randall, are you aware... Oh, no. No, not the colonel.
Same way as the others.
What?
But how we were all in the library together.
Beaches? When did he get back?
He's been back an hour, didn't anyone tell you?
No. I was in the library for some time.
The police let him go, lack of evidence. I knew they would, of course.
Let's see what they say about this.
All right, still, Beaches.
What's up with you? What are you doing with my gun?
Another move like that, you get both barrels.
What's going on here?
You made a mistake. You killed the colonel when the rest of us were together.
That's a lie. And the police were satisfied when I told my story?
Let's see if they'll be satisfied with this one. Where should we put him?
Well, there is the wine cellar.
Look, I never touched the colonel. I didn't even know he was dead.
Come on.
Well, thank goodness it's over. It's been a terrible experience.
I'll be a lot happier when Beaches is locked up in a cell.
I couldn't agree more. I can't understand why the police aren't here yet.
Did you speak to the sergeant?
Yes,
It's been over an hour. I think we'd better check on Beaches.
that's a good idea.
Won't be a moment, Sandra.
Jeff, I've got to talk to you.
I'll be right with you.
Very well.
Look, I've been working a few things out.
Such as?
Well, for example, Beaches hasn't got a motive. He was only a trustee under the will, right?
Yeah.
Well, by killing off the heirs, he's doing himself out of business. And why should he hire someone to shoot at the birds? He can do that himself anytime.
But it has to be Beaches.
No. I've been looking around. I've checked from the law. He could see somebody go into the lounge. Either Laverick or Sandra.
Not Sandra.
Oh, don't be fooled by a pretty face. She could have killed the Colonel before she came into the library. What's all that about?
Laverick said when he arrived that Beaches had phoned him about the murder. Why would he want to do that?
And if he didn't?
Exactly.
Good evening, my dear.
Where's Mr. Randall? Isn't he joining us?
Oh, didn't I tell you? He had to take Beaches into the village. The police appear to have had a breakdown or something. Quite extraordinary.
It's more than that. It's ridiculous.
Oh, he'll be back soon?
Oh, yes, I should think so. May I get you some food?
Oh, where's Johns?
On his way to London.
London?
Yes, poor fellow. He received some rather distressing news about his sister.
His sister? I didn't know he had a sister.
He hasn't. He hasn't. Don't believe a word of it.
Oh, yes. I understand that she was taken ill rather suddenly. He was most upset.
When did he leave?
Oh, about an hour ago, Mr. Randall took him to the station on his way to the village. A little wine, my dear?
Boy, are we in trouble. Laverick? He's tricked Johns into going to London. He's sitting upstairs, humming to himself, getting ready to give Sandra the chop.
I've got to get out of here.
Well, not through there, you won't. It'll take 10 men to break the bolts he's put on it.
You'll have to warn her.
You know I can't do that. Laverick has obviously planned this whole thing right from the start.
Yeah. Me, the birds, then the killings.
Do you know, I'd lay odds that he's thought of a scheme to frame you for the lot.
Well, don't just stand there, Marty. Think of something.
Like what?
How long do you think we've got before he deals with Sandra?
I don't know. Does it matter?
It might. If you can get someone to phone her, she might be able to slip away long enough to get me out of here.
Great. Great. All I want is a psychic telephone operator.
Yeah, sort of spiritual switchboard.
Did you hear that?
What?
Very strange. Someone's calling me.
Calling?
You stay here, Jeff. I'll do the best I can.
Oh, yeah, I'll stay here.
So it was you, Jeannie. You're thinking about me, aren't you? But how?
Look, all you have to do is put your fingers on the glass like that, concentrate, and after a moment it'll start to move.
So that's it. That's how you reach me.
It'll go to each letter in turn and gradually spell out a message. Now, that's all there is to
Well,
it.
I still don't believe it works.
Of course it works. I've done it before.
Jeannie, you're smoking too much. I'm sorry, love, I can't stay. Jeff's in trouble. Jeff, you're drinking too much.
Is there anybody there?
There is now. I've arrived.
You're not concentrating, Carol.
Of course I'm concentrating.
Well, it worked when I did it before. What are you jumping for? It's supposed to do that.
You're pushing it.
I'm not. It's doing it itself.
Look, I'm doing it. I'm allowed to.
Now, let's see what the message is. What'd you do that for?
I don't want to play anymore. It's scary.
Carol!
I didn't want to do it in the first place.
Hey, Jean!
Yes, sorry?
Come and sit here, Jean.
Brilliant. Good lad.
Pete, I'd rather not, really.
Jeannie, don't argue. Do as you're told.
Oh, come on. Just sit down here.
Okay. Right. Well, what do you want me to do?
Just put your finger on the glass and concentrate.
Right. What now?
What is your message?
I want you to phone Timstead 38... Phone. Where's the P?
P.
H. Aren't you going to write this down?
H.
Anybody got a pen?
Come on, Carol, make yourself useful. Write this down.
O. P-H-O.
O.
N.
Yes, my dear. You'll have the world at your feet. Young, rich, beautiful. An irresistible combination.
Well, the estate won't come to me for years.
True, but one never knows. After all, who would have guessed that in less than 2 days, 3 of the heirs should have departed so tragically?
You don't sound too concerned about it.
But why should I be? For the past 10 years, I've managed this estate quite effectively, only to find it being dispersed amongst hangers-on.
That's an astonishing remark.
Yes, it is, isn't it? I do apologize, my dear.
If you advised my aunt, you must have suggested that she leave the estate in trust.
How perceptive of you. Yes, I arranged it all. L. A. R.
Well, that seems to be that, then. That's good.
I suppose so. Make any sense, Carol?
I don't know. It's funny spelling.
Funny spelling. It's your handwriting, madam.
Well, I recognized a few words.
I think I can make a message. Wait. Phone Timstead 380. Tell Sandra I think it's Sandra.
Of course it's Sandra.
Joyce. No. Jeff.
Randall. Jeff Randall.
Do you know him?
He's my husband's partner.
Jeff Randall, then.
Tell Sandra what?
Jeff Randall is locked in the cellar.
Does it make any sense? Come on, Jeannie, come on.
I don't know. I suppose it could.
Jeannie, we're counting on you. A little brandy, my dear, the perfect nightcap.
Mr. Randall should be back by now.
Oh, I expect he's had to make a statement. I'm sure he won't be too long.
That might be him. Hello?
Timstead 380.
Yes?
Is that Sandra Joyce speaking?
Yes, who is it?
Look, I don't know if this will make any sense to you, but I've got a message for you.
I think it's working, Jeff.
I've got the message.
Yes, but how?
Maverick's coming. Inside, shut the door. He's gone into the lounge.
Duck!
Thanks.
This way, Jeff.
Thanks.
Jeff! Thank you, Randall. That will be quite sufficient.
Why, Laverick? That's what I don't understand.
The money, of course.
We'll never get it.
Keep him talking, Jeff.
Get it? I've been using the money for the last 10 years. And so long as I'm the trustee, no one is going to find out. Especially you, Randall. The birds. They did it. It was the birds.